Fire Protection Program. Purpose. OSHA's Fire Prevention Program, FPP regulation found at 29 CFR 1926.24 and Subpart F 1926-150 do not specifically require a written plan, but do require specific program elements. This plan addresses fire emergencies reasonably anticipated to occur through all phases of the construction, repair, alteration, or demolition at our construction sites. This FPP will also address the requirements of 1910.38 Fire Prevention Plan. This FPP is in place at this company to control and reduce the possibility of fire and to specify the type of equipment to use in case of fire. This plan addresses the following issues: major workplace fire hazards and their proper handling and storage procedures, potential ignition sources for fires and their control procedures, the type of fire protection equipment which can control a fire involving them, regular job titles of personnel responsible for maintenance and equipment and systems installed to prevent or control ignition of fires and or for control of fuel source hazards. Under this plan, our employees will be informed of the plan's purpose, preferred means of reporting fires and other emergencies, types of evacuations to be used in various emergency situations, and the alarm system. The plan is closely tied to our emergency action plan, where procedures are described for emergency escape procedures and route assignments, procedures to account for all of the employees after emergency evacuation has been completed, rescue and medical duties for those employees who perform them. Please see the emergency action plan for this information. The FPP communicates to employees policies and procedures to follow if a fire occurs. This written program is available upon request to employees, their designated representatives, and any OSHA officials who ask to see it. Copies of the written plan may be obtained in corporate office and within each foreman's manual. Upon notification of a fire within a corporate facility, the manager of safety will make the decision whether to remain in designated areas or to evacuate the workplace to the gathering areas. If evacuation is deemed necessary, the safety manager will be responsible for making sure all employees are notified and a head count is taken to confirm total evacuation of all employees. When practical, ensuring equipment is placed and locked in storage rooms or desks for protection. Ensuring that security measures to protect employee records and property are arranged as necessary. Act as liaison with the local fire department. Project managers, supervisors, foremen. These people are responsible for knowing the locations of fire extinguishers in their area, understanding the fire hazards of specific processes in their departments, ensuring that safe operations are maintained to prevent fires within their departments, ensuring that all employees are evacuated from the fire area, and notify the fire department having jurisdiction. The emergency numbers will be identified on the site safety plan. When it can be safely done, contacting the client and manager of safety and informing them of any emergency. Acting as a liaison with the local fire department as necessary. Inspecting fire extinguishers on a weekly basis and performing daily safety inspections of the work site. Ensuring that access to emergency equipment on the construction site is provided in the initial stage of the site preparation and maintained at all times. Employees, these people are responsible for, upon recognition of a fire, immediately notifying employees in the immediate area to evacuate and then notify the foreman, supervisor, and/or fire department having jurisdiction. In the corporate facility, the emergency numbers will be listed adjacent to the telephones, and at a construction site, the emergency numbers will be identified on the site safety plan. Assisting in maintaining the workplace free of all fire hazards. Workplace fire hazards. It is the intent of this company to ensure that hazardous accumulations of combustible waste materials are controlled so that a fast-developing fire, rapid spread of toxic smoke, or an explosion will not occur. Employees are to be made aware of the hazardous properties of materials in their workplace and the degree of hazard each possesses. Common fire hazards that could exist at the corporate facility or the construction site are oils, greases, degreasers, parts washers, flammable combustible liquids, and flammable or oxidizer gases. Client facilities may have additional fire hazards to be communicated to Plaas Incorporated employees prior to the start of the project. Fire prevention measures must be developed for all identified fire hazards. Once employees are made aware of the fire hazards in their work areas, they must be trained in the fire prevention measures developed and use them in the course of their work. For example, oil-soaked rags must be treated differently than general paper trash in office areas. Oil-soaked rags must be deposited in UL-listed oil waste cans and be disposed of regularly. In addition, large accumulations of waste paper or corrugated boxes, etc., can pose a significant fire hazard. Accumulations of material which can cause larger fires or generate dense smoke that are easily ignited or may start from spontaneous combustion are the types of materials with which this fire prevention plan is concerned. Matches, welders, sparks, cigarettes, and similar low-level energy ignition sources may easily ignite such combustible materials. It is the intent of the company to prevent such accumulation of materials. Fire prevention can be accomplished by 1. Maintaining good housekeeping, 2. Proper storage of flammable and combustible liquids stored in UL-listed containers, and when available, store the containers when not in use with an improved flammable liquid storage cabinet. Number 3. Store compressed gas cylinders per OSHA and AGA requirements. Number 4. Store used rags in UL-listed oily waste cans. Number 5. Follow proper hot work safety practices. Number 6, do not allow ignition sources within 25 feet of flammables. Number 7, all equipment must be parked, shut down, and secured prior to refueling. Number 8, smoking shall be prohibited at or in the vicinity of such operations which constitute a fire hazard and shall be conspicuously posted. No smoking or open flame, and provide enforcement of the policy. Portable battery-powered equipment used in conjunction with the storage, handling, or use of flammable gases or liquids shall be the type approved for hazardous locations. Flammable combustible liquids shall not be stored in areas used for exit stairways or normally used for the safe passage of people. Potential ignition sources. All employees are responsible to ensure that the known ignition sources are controlled. Flammable or combustible materials may not ignite on their own without an external source of ignition. Therefore, accumulation of flammable combustible materials is not allowed. Within the corporate facility and at construction sites, the requirements for safe welding work practices are to be followed to reduce the fire risk. When required by the client, hot work permits are used. Smoking is not permitted around flammable combustible liquids and gases. Fire protection equipment. Fire protection equipment selected and purchased by the manager of safety in use at this company includes various sizes of A, B, and C fire extinguishers. A, B, and C fire extinguishers must be within 75 feet of travel to any point. A fire extinguisher rated not less than 10 B, C must be within 50 feet of a quantity of 5 gallons or more of flammable combustible liquid or 5 pounds of flammable gas being used on the job site. All fire extinguisher locations shall be clearly identified and fully accessible for use. All company vehicles are equipped with a fire extinguisher. A fire extinguisher is to be adjacent to each area where hot work operations are being conducted. Employees will be trained in extinguisher use as applicable to their job assignment. Maintenance of fire protection equipment. Once hazards are evaluated and fire extinguishing equipment is installed to control them, that equipment must be monitored on a regular basis to make sure it continues to function properly. The following personnel are responsible for maintaining equipment and systems installed to prevent or control fires. Manager of safety is responsible for the facility, and each foreman is responsible for the respective construction site. These individuals follow strict guidelines for maintaining the equipment. Fire extinguishers located at the corporate facility are inspected monthly and serviced annually. Fire extinguishers located at construction sites are inspected weekly and serviced annually. A written record shall be maintained of the annual servicing, and this record shall be retained for a minimum of 1 year. Fire extinguishers shall be maintained in a fully charged and operational condition and kept in their designated places at all times except for during use. Fire prevention learning exercise. True or false? OSHA requires at least one Class A fire extinguisher within 75 feet of every room in a building. False. OSHA requires a maximum travel distance of 75 feet for Class A fire extinguishers. Number 2, true or false, fire is a chemical reaction that involves fuel, oxygen, and a source of ignition. True. True or false, there are 4 classes of fires: ordinary combustible materials, flammable liquids, energized electrical equipment, and combustible metals. That's true. True or false, oily rags shall be deposited in the trash immediately after using. That's false. To prevent Class A fires, oily rags shall be deposited in covered metal containers. Number 5, true or false, Class B fires can be prevented by ventilating the area. True. Flammable liquids should also be kept away from heat, flame, and spark. Number 6, true or false, unusual odors can be the first sign of a Class C electrical fire. True. Number 7, true or false, storing combustible metals away from other chemicals can prevent Class D fires. True. Number 8, true or false, when evacuating a burning building, make sure to lock all doors behind you. False. Doors should be closed, not locked, to make search and rescue efforts easier. Number 9, true or false? The 4 basic types of fire extinguishers are water foam, carbon dioxide, dry chemical, and halon. True. True or false? Number 10, carbon dioxide fire extinguishers can be used on any class of fire. False. Carbon dioxide, CO2, fire extinguishers must not be used on Class A and D fires. True or false? Number 11, multi-purpose dry chemical fire extinguishers leave a residue that can harm computers, electronics, and other sensitive equipment. True. In those situations, carbon dioxide or halon extinguishers are preferred. Number 12, true or false? A fire extinguisher's rating can be found on the bottom of the fire extinguisher. False. The rating can be found on the faceplate. Number 13, true or false? All Class C extinguishers must carry a Class A or B rating. True. Number 14, true or false? The proper method of putting out a fire is to sweep the extinguisher from side to side, covering the area of the fire with the extinguishing agent. True. 15, true or false? You should always fight a fire with a means of escape behind you. True. 16, true or false? If a fire extinguisher seal has been broken but it hasn't been used, it is still in proper working order. False. Once the seal has been broken, it should be considered empty. It should be refilled and resealed immediately, and all certification information should be updated.